What's up, everybody? Before you get into today's episode of Cosigns and Tangents, I just have to shout out Anchor because it is by far the easiest way to start and create your own podcast. So let me explain. One, it is free. Also, there are several tools that you can use to record and edit your podcast right from your phone and your computer. Also, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple, and many, many more. And you can make money by doing your podcast with no minimum listenership. Ain't that awesome? And you have everything at your fingertips. It is so easy. So, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started now. What's up, everyone? This is your girl, Saina Wynn, and you have tuned into yet another episode of Cosigns and Tangents. I may be your friend, I may be your foe, I don't know, but what I do know is that I have a wonderful guest with us. Her name is Oya, and she is a poet that I met on my birthday, actually, and she is right. I know it was amazing. It was you are bright and beautiful and young, and you were down to be on my podcast. As soon as I asked you, and I was like, "Yes, Queen, let's talk." So I'm very excited to have Oh no, dang it, I messed it up. Oh yeah, y'all trick y'all. I'm sorry. I knew what I was gonna say, but I was like, is that right? But I would love for you to go ahead and just introduce yourself to our listeners today. Oh yeah, and we'll get started with our conversation.
Cool. So it's your girl. Oh yeah, the walking poet, the fire-breathing dragon, the vampire slayer, the grandfather slayer, the girl that you want to take home to your mama.
Ooh, girl. Okay, I'm gonna call you bitch. Can I say bitch? Because bitch, I need a new intro. I love it. It's giving very much like Game of Thrones, but poetry, and I love it. So,
you know?
oh, girl, yes, honey. I feel like you might be a nerd too. So we're gonna talk. We're gonna have fun today. So, oh yeah, the walking poet. Thank you so much for coming and talking to me today. I'm so excited to just kind of get to know you. So,
I'm glad to be here.
I'm so thankful. I just love you. I might have to take some moments to gush for you, just or fangirl, because just to give y'all some backstory, I met I want to say it. Is it right? I keep saying it. My brain is like, okay. My brain is like, you saying it wrong. I'm very particular about names because that's the thing that we have and that's the thing that we want to go by. So I'm very respectful of names because coming from Santa, people call me Sarah, Santa, Satan, and so I just want to make sure I write. But anyway, so I met when she came for my birthday, and she was just a very positive light. You have great energy. You're very ambitious, you're smart, and you're freaking talented. And I finally got a chance to hear you do one of your poems when we were in Ohio together. And I was shook. I was like, oh, okay, let's go. And so as soon as I heard you shook with the TH, shook. So I was just like so impressed by you. You just seem like you have a great head on your shoulders. But I feel like the power and the energy that you transmitted through that poem, that you have a whole lot of life that you put into that poem. So I just want to know, I want to ask you the first question is just how are you emotionally, physically, and spiritually? Let's just get down to it.
Today I'm really good emotionally. I'm on a high, and life it has its ups and downs. But emotionally today, I'm feeling really, really good. I had a hair appointment. Okay. And I got to, help somebody with their crown. She walked out of here feeling and looking like a real $100 stallion. And
Yes.
and I feel good. I feel really good. Mentally, I'm feeling positive. motivated, and just dedicated to the grind. Spiritually, I'm grateful. I listened to a little bit of gospel, started twerking on little Kirk Franklin, but hopefully God don't strike me down for twerking on the gospel music. But
I was like, let's twerk on the gospel music, okay?
I mean, it just, sometimes it gets you hyped. So, you got a little twerk.
Exactly.
Little Millie rocking.
I see you, a little Dougie, a little
Dougie on it, yeah, taking
okay.
hair.
Well, that's great. I love that you are having a positive day. Let's start the Friday and hopefully bring it around to the next few days that we have. So let me ask you this: how did you get into being a poet? Like, tell me about that.
That's when we gonna get into my life story.
Oh,
I started by dating a poet, I guess. But so in high school I wrote poetry, but it was kind of like, the roses are red, violets are blue type.
Right.
And when I was an adult, I ended up meeting, some poets in college, and it was on a different level. And I just became interested, ended up, dating a poet and being surrounded by a lot of creative individuals. And next thing I know, after my heart got broke by that said poet, I wrote a poem about it. And it activated, a newfound love, for myself.
Right.
A newfound way of healing too.
Oh, okay. Tell me a little bit more about that, like your healing process. Just how did that help you with your healing process?
I didn't so I've always been creative, but I didn't
Mhm.
realize that, my creativity was as important to me as it is now. And so I kind of like I kind of like ignored it for a while. And
Mhm.
so when I needed an outlet and I didn't, go to like a psychologist or anything, I was like, what can I do? And one day I was like driving home in my car and I just like started saying stuff out loud and it sounded poetic. And I was like, okay, let me write this down. And then like I draw, I sing, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, I used to dance. So like I did everything in the arts, and like it was just like, okay, maybe you should let somebody hear this and see what see what they say.
Okay. So what stopped you, just to backtrack, you said that you kind of ignored your creative gifts for a while. Can you tell me just what stopped you from like embracing that creativity for a
Yeah.
minute?
So I graduated high school in 2008. That was when the whole Obama stuff was going on, and the economy was kind of going through a recession, and I was afraid of
Mm.
pursuing my dreams and my goals at the time, because I was just like, you need to get some type of education that you to have a job no matter what kind of state the economy is in. And so I started thinking like, what can I do? And the only other thing that I liked was like, numbers. So like
Mhm.
I was like, okay, if you do finance, you can work for some corporate company and do the numbers for this company, and you'll always be straight. They'll always need you because money gonna always be important. And so I just let go of the idea of opening my own business, opening a dance studio, being a singer, things like that, like the stuff I did in my bedroom when I was singing in front of my teddy bears. I kind of like let it go
Mm.
to be financially stable. In a
I feel
way.
you. I feel you, girl. We all do it because I had the same admirations. Like when I was in college, I'm like, I'm going to fix all the world's problems. And then, right, I was in school. I graduated in college '09, so I was like right there in the middle. I said, oh, I can't. Oh, I shouldn't have done this
Yeah.
major. I should have done something like IT because this is trash. So
Yeah.
I could, because at my time I was doing anthropology and psychology, so those are definitely love, like crafts of love, unless you really know what you're doing, and I did not, so I completely understand.
Right.
Okay, so like,
Wow.
So how long did it take you to come like so how long did you work in finance or did you work in finance when you got out of college before you just like I can't do this no more?
Oddly enough, I still work in finance. I'm in
Okay.
the I'm in the financial aid department at a school. But I get to do it remotely now because I relocated in Georgia, but the school is based in Arkansas. But yeah, I get to do that part time, and
Okay.
yeah, I actually I do hair. That's my goal, to do hair and to be an artist full
Oh,
time.
awesome. Okay, well,
Yeah.
shoot. Next time I see you, I'm like, how much is for whatever you do? Just do it. Exactly. I actually
Facts.
cut my hair off, so it might be hard, but we'll
What?
see. Yes, girl. I had to have
When
a
I saw you,
catharsis.
would you have your hair?
Girl, I had a wig on.
Okay. I was like, I know it
Yes,
was
honey.
long. I don't know if it was braids or not.
No, I got me one of them headband wigs. It was rocking the do, honey. So, but yeah, I cut it off. I had to have a catharsis. It was very nice. It was like I was kind of like sobbing a little bit. It was great.
Hmm.
It felt real nice
I'm
to
not
kind of
for
cut off
cutting
something.
hair.
As somebody who does hair, y'all like to cut, and I just did it myself. I found some rusty scissors, and I was like, yes, cut, and then
Yes,
I was
it's
like, it felt great.
happening.
It's happening. I was like, I'm finally doing it. I'm taking control. Snip, snip. It was it was so uneven.
That's
But
funny.
but I rocked it uneven for like a good month before I finally got it cut into a decent shape. So I look just like my daddy.
Yeah.
And so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So just that's why we call this co-sizing tangents, by the way. We will go on tangents. I do not think linearly. Like whatever comes to my mind, I tend to say it. So just FYI. But I feel like we're kindred spirits that we can follow each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you work in the finance department. So you still manage somehow to still work in a corporate environment, but also chasing your dreams. Like, how did you decide to do that? Because I know some people will just either go all or nothing. They either stay in the corporate life, or they say, "F it, I'm finna live in a van and I'm finna play music or do whatever they have to do." So, like, what was that like? Like being able to, what is it like to actually be able to work your job that pays you to be creative, basically?
Honestly, all I can say, and I'm gonna be real transparent with you, is not what you
Please.
know, it's who you know. And on top
Mm-hmm.
of that, like, manifesting is so real because, full transparency, I didn't finish
Please.
college. So I
Oh,
studied
okay.
finance, but
Mm-hmm.
I quit school my senior year. And when I was, I had a long life, girl. So when I was in the military, I ended up,
You was in the
having
military?
my girl. Yeah, so I done had a long life, like, but
Oh my
like when
gosh.
I was in the military, when I was in the military, one of my NCOs, like, he knew somebody, and I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
was telling him, because I was going through life, and I was like, listen, I'm unhappy with my life, and I'm unhappy with everything I got going on, and I don't want to work for no white man. Do you know somebody who needs help? And I was like, I'm willing to take a pay cut. I'm willing to do what I gotta do. I just want to see somebody that owns a business that looks like me. And
Mm.
so he was like, I got this homegirl. She just opened up a school and she needs some help. And so when I met her, it was really nice. I mean, and we went to lunch, and we just talked. And she was like, I would like to, have you. So she hired me on as a cashier, right?
Mm.
And I think I was there maybe 2 months. And she, like, I guess she saw my work ethic, and she was like, I want to offer you another position in my
Mm.
company. And I was like, okay. And then next thing you know, she was like, I want to offer you another position in my company. And I was like, oh, okay. And so, like, just getting to know her, she became, like, working for her, she became a multimillionaire.
Oh wow.
And so, just she took me under her wing, and I've been helping her run her company. So it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I don't know, like, so I've been able to do that even when I moved, like I took a break working for her. And so, when I decided to come back, we just kind of talked about it being part-time, and like I'm just helping with back office stuff and still being able to, get my main bills paid with it, and being able to take time and really hustle outside of that. Because you have to have that balance where it's like, you want to sustain, like, you want to be able to pay your bills. You don't want to be out here. I'm a woman, I can't be out here at least once a month. I need to know that I got somewhere to sleep, eat, and that's with women
Right.
things.
You're right. Oh
I need
yeah.
to know that I have certain things taken care of, and like, it's just a matter of, if I don't give into my art, sometimes I get so depressed. And so it's like, I have to take that time. Like, I have to schedule the time to work on my own brand, because I can't become a multimillionaire like her if I don't focus on what my purpose is and what God has given me to give to the world. And
I love
so
that.
I just keep, I don't know, like every day I'm waking up and I say mantras, and I say my affirmations, and I'm like, okay, this is what I want. I know it don't look like I'm gonna have it yet, but every day it looks a little bit closer, and I'm just like, okay.
As
It
long as
is
you
what it
keep moving
is.
forward. That's amazing. Girl,
Yeah.
so I just want to go back a couple steps because you definitely had lived a life. I was like, okay, so you were in the military. What branch were you in?
Army, National
Okay.
Guard, yeah.
Okay. I have one of my best friends. She's Army National Guard. So you did that for like
What
4 years?
I did that for 8 years. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you did that for 8 years. Man, okay. Can you tell me just what it was like? And we're going to go back because I definitely want to get into your affirmations, your manifesting, because I know that's something that you've been writing a book about, and we will get to that because I really want to talk about that.
Yeah. Of course.
But I just, because you have so much experience, and so, how can I ask how old are you?
I'm 31.
Girl, you so young. It's just like
I'm
you definitely.
31.
Okay, okay. If y'all see her, like she looks like a fresh kid, like, but not really. She's a grown woman. She just has a youthful face, and you wouldn't know that all this life that you've lived. So, what was that like, just as a black woman in the military? Because you're my first military lady that I've talked to, so I'm excited.
It was crazy, honestly. Like, I kid you not, I could only do 8 years because I was like, I can't do this. It was a fight I was not. It was a fight I wasn't ready for. And like, the thing about it was, I enlisted first. And
Hmm.
so, I did my training I think I went from E3 to like E4. And so when I got done with my training, I did a little bit of time, but then, of course, me being me, I'm talking to people, and somebody says, hey, a better career path would be for you to become a commissioned officer. And so I was
Hmm.
like, okay, the money, like, even going through the training, that will bump me up 3 pay grades, right?
Oh,
And
okay.
so my pay would go up tremendously just from training to become an officer. And so I decided to, like, listen to them. And I was, as a young woman, I was like, I was trying to get to the money, to be honest.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
it's
was
all
just
about the
like,
money.
okay, so,
I
whatever,
feel you.
whatever, right. And
Hmm.
I decided to go through the training. It was hell.
Mm.
But me being a non-quitter, I was like, okay. I finally commissioned, became an officer. I was like probably the youngest person in my class. Like, mind you, I'm going
Mm.
through training with 40-year-old white men. I'm like,
Mm.
if there was another black woman in the class, it was no more than 3 of us out of like 60. And
Dang.
so, and then not a lot of the energy that came from, going through these trainings was like, either you meet another black woman who's like, hey, black woman, let's be cool, or you meet
Right.
another black woman that's like, I don't want to stereotype us as black women, you know what I mean? And so,
Yeah.
like, going through all these trainings, it's like, okay, I don't know if I should be cool with you, but I'm gonna try to talk to you, but I don't know what's gonna happen. And
Hmm.
so it just felt lonely a
Mm.
lot. after I finally got my commission, became a second lieutenant, I every meeting I went to, it was lonely. Like I never connected with anybody again. I'm with these experienced 40, 50-year-old white men who, go golfing and yakking together. And I don't have anything in common with them. And I'm supposed to
Man.
be in a meeting and I'm supposed to, like get to know them. And yeah, it was intense. I made my
Right.
way, but
Yeah, I could.
I just
Knowing, just getting a glimpse of your personality, I can see you making your way. But like, I feel like that would have been such a hard thing to do as a natural creative, going into something so rigid. Like, so did you? Was that also a time where you didn't get a chance to work in your creativity, or did you kind of have to put that on hold as well?
I did. Like I felt like I was losing myself.
Mm,
That's when I started like working on manifesting like the life I wanted, because I had got promoted, and even though it was supposed to be a good day, I didn't feel fulfilled, and I was just like,
mm,
what am I doing? Like what is my life? Like I think when I had just got promoted, I was still working at a bank. And again, I've
mm,
always, worked with money and stuff. And I was like working the way that it was set up, it was as if the only white person was an overseer and all the black people
mm,
worked where I worked. Or like, when I worked at bank, all the black people would be at a specific branch and all the white people would be at a specific branch. And I was just like, this is not like I can't see myself doing this. And that's when I was just like, I just had a wake up call, and I was like, you know what? Just start asking people. And that's when I had asked my NCO, I was like, who do you know? Because he was big on like, you know, being like about blackness. And so I was just like, okay, well, who do you know that is needing help? Because I don't care about the money anymore. Like, I just need to see somebody that looks like me that is doing it so that I can get some motivation to do it for them,
mm.
you know?
Yeah. And
And
so was your NCO black too, or he was just kind of pro black?
he was black. Yeah, he was
Okay.
black. He was black.
So you at least had at least a black male you can ask these questions to and just kind of at least get some help if they were amenable. Okay.
Yeah, funny enough, he wasn't even there that long because the one who he replaced was white, so I was
Oh man.
surrounded by him. Yeah, I was
He's so
surrounded by him.
he's like I'm surrounded by him. Oh my gosh. I feel you because that's how I've been like my most of my adult life because I went to a PWI and a predominantly
Yeah,
white institution. And so I chose that. And if I could go back, I definitely would have done differently. I chose that because I went to all black schools and I was like, I need to understand how to work in their world. Because at that
yeah,
time it was their world. I didn't see it as I can have a piece of my own world. And I think that was like maybe like that assimilation mindset because that's what we've been ingrained into dealing with
mm,
you're gonna have to learn how to deal with them. So that was one of the reasons why I went there. So I was constantly surrounded by white people. And then when I went to my jobs, I was always maybe the one of one or the one of two. So I completely get that. Now I do want to go back because the one of your biggest things you can kind of mention is just like finding a black female mentor or somebody that you can kind of look up to. So and you did hit on one of the subjects too about how like you never know what type of black woman you're going to meet. You're going to either meet a black woman that's like let's go, let's rule the world, or you're going to meet a black woman who is defensive of her position. So did you have a
mm-hmm.
lot of experience with like the defensive type of black women when you were growing up, or just making your way through the ranks, or just adulthood?
So like I grew up in a small town, but it was predominantly black. Like all the white people had moved out, and like it just, I mean, I think that we have always been defensive. Well, where I come from, we've kind of been defensive, and we had to outwork each other to, be able to
Mm,
shine. And I think in the military, you know, I I understood it because there would be, some people who would expect you to make it easy for them because, you were kind of the same. But you, as
mm,
a woman in power, or not even in power, because power is an illusion sometimes, But as a woman who had authority, you don't want anybody to try to get over on you or to think that, you know, you had the easy way out. And so a lot of Black women would either have to be very stern to make sure that you know that you have to work, because I mean they don't ignore that they've been going through the same thing that you've been going through, but you know, they don't want to be like, okay, well, I don't want nobody else to think that I'm taking it easy on you just because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some women can't balance it, and they'll go too hard on you, or and be unnecessarily, you know, unnecessarily difficult to relate to them.
And you know what I find to be kind of interesting about that statement you made, because because I get it, because when I worked in a trucking company, like I was a manager for the first time, and so I would expect a lot more from my Black and brown drivers. Like I'm like, y'all know better. Like in my head, that's what I'm like, y'all know better than this. Why don't having that expectation? But my drivers of the Caucasus Mountains or the Caprice Sun Mountains, not just joking. The white drivers, I would be like, just like us. So, just like not surprised, but I'm like, I always wonder, like, why do we do that? Because thing is, in white on white spaces, they probably go a little bit easier on them because they help get them jobs, or they help help them move up. But for us, it's like we have to, like, if I struggle, you gonna have to struggle. Isn't that crazy? But that just came to mind when you were saying it. I was like, that's why I'm like, I try to be a little bit different now. I try to be like, oh yeah, I help you, you help me, or whatever. You don't have to even do nothing. Let's just help each other. Because I later on worked with a recruiting company where I was for a big car company. And so I would try to make sure, to like put in as many Black people as I could.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, niggas, let's go.
Right. And that's what I feel like a lot of us is the younger us is like I feel like now, it's less about competing with each other and more being like, the only way we're gonna come up is if we put each other on, because it's about community, you know what I mean? And like I shouldn't look at another Black woman and be like, oh, I don't want to help her because what if she outdo me? No, sis, come on. Because if you're better at it, then I'm going to learn from you. And we got to be more comfortable with that. Because, like, the way society is set up, it seems like we have a little bitty piece of the pie and we all trying to get that one piece. But we deserve the rest of the pie as well. So I'm about to go and do what I gotta do to get some more pie, and I'm gonna share it with my people because we all need this pie.
Right, we all gotta eat. So it's like the metaphor, like they had like the table ain't big enough. I said, well, we can build more. We can build more table.
Exactly.
We can make more pie. Exactly. Because I think that comes from just where my mindset was when I was younger, coming out in 2004. I was like, okay, so I have to be I have to learn how to sit at their table. But now in my head, I want to make my own table. I want to create my own table. I want to extend those tables. And I want everybody to have a seat, as much as you want to have it, So I think that's the one thing I love about the generation, like your generation. We're about the same, right? I don't know. You're a millennial?
We're about
I don't know.
Almost.
Yeah.
I think just a little bit.
I think you're on the cusp or something of a millennial / Gen Z, or maybe, but whatever. We all cool. We Black.
I'm like the tip of millennial, I think.
I get millennial vibes, but that's another way that we we categorize each other to figure out, like, oh, are you in or are you out? But thing is, to me, we all in, because one, we're females, we're Black, so we should all be in. I have to remind myself of that, so that's what I'm saying out loud. Okay, so I love that. So like would you consider the woman that you work for now, like, is she considered your mentor, or are you just kind of just watch and learn kind of vibe?
You know what? It's crazy. Like it started as like a mentorship, and then like next thing you know, she was like, "I think you one of my best friends," and I was like, "Oh, cool." And we just got close. Like she'll, put me on game about different stuff, and she was the one that was like, Brittany, the thing is, because my real name Brittany, she was like, Brittany, the thing is, you spending your own money on business stuff. You got to spend this bank money. I was like, dang, okay. She was like, you gotta get your credit up, and you gotta get these credit lines, and you gotta get all this stuff. Cause when you start spending their money and paying it back, they gonna want you to spend more money, and that's how you get your game up, you know. And so I was like, okay. So she just like, she'll put me on game, and stuff that she sell to other people for some reason, she'll just be like, all right, you need to pay attention. Like, you know, help me with this, and it'll be just, you know, me helping with something, and I get to get the information, and it's just like a blessing, honestly.
That's
So
pretty
it's
dope.
like a balance, a real balance, because like I've helped her, you know, emotionally, and I didn't even realize my value in her life until, you know, she was just explaining to me, like, I went through some stuff emotionally, and you have been, like, you know, sort of a rock. And I was like, okay, cool. I didn't even realize
Oh,
it.
I was like, oh, I was just being there. I wasn't trying to be there. Yeah, just
Right. I
sleeping
was
on
just
your
being
internal gifts.
myself.
I was like, I was just being
Right.
myself, being my awesome, amazing, supportive friend. Not just, but
Say it better
I
when you
get it,
say
because
it.
hey, my friend, she taught me this thing. She's like, sometimes you got to summarize the good and the bad. Like, so like we had this situation where like there was a person, like a mutual person that we both kind of had to like cut out. And then so she like
Mm-hmm.
summarized all the weird things that they did. And she was like,
Yeah.
I said, damn, when you summarize it like that, it's more impactful. She said, girl, you gotta summarize it, the good and the bad, and you're gonna find out if it's worth keeping or leaving. And I'm like, you're right. You're right.
Facts.
So
Yeah.
okay. Well, tell me more. Just like, so we talked about the affirmations, the manifesting, and because I've started doing that in the last, probably about the last 2 years. Like I used to didn't really write my goals down. Like I would just say them out loud.
Mm.
But I actually started
Yeah.
doing it and drawing it, and I noticed that like a lot of the stuff that I was drawing and thinking and manifesting started coming true. So tell me how you got onto that more of a manifestation level.
Man, I didn't know what I was doing, honestly.
Mm,
I was raised as a Christian, and I was just like, God, I need something. Like, and then what happens with me is like, I'll have like an impulse thought. And
mm-hmm,
if I follow the impulse thought, sometimes it leads me to something really good. And like when I walked to when I like our offices were beside each other, the NCO that I was telling you about. And
mm-hmm.
so I was just sitting there, and something was like, go over there and ask him if he knows somebody. And I
Mm.
did. And it wasn't even like, it was like probably like a month later, I think, and that's when we went to lunch. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna introduce you to her, don't let me down. And I was like, okay. Next thing you know,
Bet.
you know, 3 years later, he's like, dang, you done became the top at the company. And I was just
You
like,
told me
okay,
not to let you
yes.
down.
Right.
Mm-hmm,
So I was just honestly talking to God, just like, listen, I'm tired of the bad relationships. I'm tired of the mistakes. I'm tired of not walking in my will. I'm in your will, not walking in my purpose, you know. And I'm just like, I need to know who you need me to be, who I'm supposed to be, because I want to help people, and I
mm-hmm.
don't want to just be this lowly, sad person every day that's smoking her tears away and drinking, and
Yeah.
you know, and it hasn't been easy. Like, you know, that was like the first time I really manifested something, because it kind of got bad again when I
Mm,
kind of got complacent, you know. I got
yeah.
complacent. I started working for her, and I was like giving a whole lot of time, you know, and I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't doing anything for myself anymore. And I went through the same thing again. I was like, hold on, you gotta make something shake. And that's when, you know, the doors opened up, and I was able to talk to her about, you know, because we became friends. And so I was able to talk to her about being unfulfilled. And she was like, well, what are you feeling? I was like, well, you know, I'm working for you a lot, but I'm not doing anything for myself. And she was like, okay, well, do something for yourself, what you need. And so that relationship, you know, ended up being to where I could talk to her about the less time I needed to spend working on her business and starting to work on my business. And doing me,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And that's, yeah, it's been a work in progress, honestly.
Oh, everything is because she didn't just pop up and be like, "I'm going to be a millionaire." Well, she probably did and just followed her instincts, but it probably took her a long time.
It took,
So
yeah, it took her a minute to get there.
yes. So like, how did you? Because that's one of my things. Like, I'm getting to the point where I'm kind of trusting the impulsiveness, and or it could be your instincts or whatever you want to call it. So how did you get into the point where you were like felt able to trust your impulsiveness?
You just gotta be fed up with any other option. It's like, what harm could it do? You know what I mean? Like, it won't tell you to do anything like jump off a bridge. You know what I'm saying? See if you could fly and make some wings pop up. It's not gonna say nothing like that. It's just gonna be like, well, go and talk to this person, or tell this
Mm-hmm.
person that you need this, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it'll just be
Yeah.
like, look at this, or do something, or walk this way. And it's just,
Mm,
what bad could come from it? Your spirit
yeah.
guide is never gonna lead you anywhere that you don't need to be. And it's just like trusting that has gotten me, like, it's like really going in, doing that shadow work and being like, well, why don't you trust yourself? Figuring out, what I need to do in order to trust myself. And when I hear the voice, I'm just like, what harm could it do?
Mm.
I would never, because some people say it's us, or some people say it's God, but I would never lead myself astray. Why would I do that? Why would I punish myself? I'm tired of being punished. Life is punishment enough. I need,
Right.
I need the good life now.
Let's
So
be
it's
real.
just
Earth
like,
is whole ghetto.
right, it's ghetto here. I
I
need
just
something
don't.
else.
Right.
Move me
I
to the
love that.
suburbs.
Oh. I want the suburbs of blackness, whatever that looks
Thank
like.
you.
Like
Let me
that's
get that.
freedom. Because the one thing I think, like, because the one thing because we talk about, like, we want to get that money, but I feel like really what we want is that level of freedom and the level of peace
Mhm. Mhm.
that we see that if I have a certain amount of money, I can eventually buy that peace and that freedom. And so
Right.
I want because you touched on, you've been saying a lot of keywords, because I want to go finally get to your affirmations, because I know that's one of the first things when you said, you're like, oh yeah, I'm working on a book of affirmations. I said, you like crystals, don't you? You're like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I was like, me too, girl. I got my amethyst. I got my rose quartz. So it's nice to talk to a little fellow woo woo person. But like, how did you get into like that more spiritual side of your of like? Because I feel like and correct me if I'm wrong. Like, you don't seem religious. You seem more spiritual. And would that be the case? Like, you believe in God, but you still have that more intact spirituality. So how did you get down that road?
Um. Long life, man. Okay, so I've
Lord,
never,
don't tell me you were a Navy
even
SEAL
though,
too.
no, like, even though I was raised up in the church, there was always something about it that, like, kind of, I was like, okay, at this point, what? And like, I've never been a person that, even though I believe, if I when I did believe in, the way that I believe so heavily, I was never the person that was like gonna go to somebody else and be like, you need to believe what I believe. And so
Right.
that always kind of like was a red flag. And I believe, like, the difference between spirituality and religion, I believe religion is the man-made rule, like what somebody else says that you should do in order to see God. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if we were all made by God, or like, why wouldn't I have a direct connection with this being, this existence? And why wouldn't they talk to me? Why would God tell you something about me before, you know they came to me about it? Because it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, that don't make sense. That's like an invasion of privacy. Like, you shouldn't know nothing about me that God don't want to talk to me about first. Or, and even
I
even when
like that.
when confirmation is in play, you know what I'm saying? It's already
Mm-hmm.
something that you talk to God about. And so if somebody comes and they speak into your life, it's already because you've asked God for confirmation. So it's just like, I don't know, like, y'all be tripping sometimes. So I just kind of like, I always had that, like, that red flag with religion. And then, I became an adult. Now I got out of my mom's house, and I was able to, like, read more into the Bible and read more books than the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started reading, I was like, oh, all y'all saying the same thing in different ways. And
right?
dang, like y'all all trying to, Buddha,
Right.
he like, it's all the same. And so I started ended up meeting people who were from different backgrounds, and it was just easy to talk to them. And I was like, as a person, you're a good person. Then one day somebody told me, it was like, there are good Christians and bad Christians. There are good Muslims and bad Muslims. Then they started naming people in history. I was like, you are so right.
Like,
So
oh,
I always made it a point to just be spiritual and and just have a direct connection with my spirit person. No
okay.
matter what language, if what they look like, it didn't matter. So I don't know. I just want to
Yeah.
have a relationship with God, not some idea of God.
Yeah, cultivating your own relationship instead of trying to like mirror off of what the church says and what the pastor says. It's just like
Right.
I'm gonna have my own relationship with God, and that helps you become a lot closer to Him. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
That's beautiful, and that's how I feel. Like I realized like I've always wanted to like be kind of like woo woo and like witchy or whatever. And so I know
Yeah.
like 2020, right? I
Witches
know
are
I was like,
cool.
I know they're cool. It's like, and it is a lot of the same stuff happened in the Bible, like with divination and like tarot cards. I was like,
Saying all the
oh,
same things. That's
they
the
be doing the
thing.
same things. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
And there was this movie I watched called Beautiful Creatures, and it had Viola Davis, and she was like the black lady. I don't know if she was a witch, but she knew witches or whatever. And she's like, God told us to love everything. Men are the ones who told us not to. And I was like, that's
Right.
always stuck with me because like I try to try to put love out there, as much as I can. And that's one of the things that's like really wanted me to be, I feel, more connected spiritually to God, and just also having to kind of reconcile with what religion has done to African Americans in
Oh.
America, and how it's been
Oh.
so corrupted. And I'll be
Oh.
like, God, I love you, but man, these
I
white people's
know people
Jesus.
have done some crazy stuff in your
I,
name. Some
I
crazy
know
shit has been done in your
it
name.
done
Okay.
too much. And my last straw was when they said God dictated, not Bush, what's his name, Trump, to save America. I said, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. That's where I draw the
Why don't
line.
y'all
That's where
go and
I
see if God wants y'all to go jump off a bridge? How about that?
exactly, because that's where I draw the line. That orange mofo motherfucker is not sent by the Lord. He is sent by the devil. Okay, he is not for me.
No,
I was like, if
he's
y'all
sent
believe
by the
that, I'm gonna have to
devil.
exit. I'm gonna have to exit
Yeah.
stage left on that one, honey. I don't think so. Y'all gotta
Exit
rethink. Right. Okay.
and scene. Cut.
And
Cut. Are we
sing
done
like,
here?
let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Let's wrap it up, cause
Let's wrap it up, guys.
you don't have to worry about me. You don't have to worry about me. I'm out of here. Peace. So I completely get that. Okay, so it seems like you said, just you've lived a lot of life. So you worked. You have observed religion in its most conservative, really, because Black churches are super conservative. We don't be
Oh,
thinking Blackness and conservative go together, but no, we super conservative, just not
yeah.
the same way as white conservatives, but slick,
Right.
kind of same. Okay, and so you traverse through religion, you traverse through military, which is basically America's religion. So you're out,
Facts.
you're right. So you're out, you're 31, and you're finally embracing the creativity things, the things that make you happy. So what are you doing now? Tell the world, because I know what you're doing a little bit, but I haven't heard the whole thing.
So again, I'm a hairstylist,
Mm-hmm.
specializing in locks and braids, loctician, and
Oh, I know somebody with some locks. I know a lot of people.
right. I'm about to become a hair color specialist as far as
Oh,
like hair goes and
you said hair
culture
coach?
color, hair color.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to be painting rainbows in people's head.
I love seeing it when
um,
they like the right color when it just hits. It's so pretty.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to specialize in that, and not trying. I'm going to, and
Mm-hmm.
And then, I do my poetry and my singing, and I write music, singer songwriter, and now I'm about to be a published author. I'm an empowerment speaker,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, like these are the things that I do.
Okay, so tell me. Okay, so we did hit on the hair and the color. So I know you had a hair appointment today. You're a poet. You're gonna. I already asked you. You're gonna grace us with something at the end. So tell me more
Mhm.
about the book that you put out. Because as a published author too. So I feel you. Welcome to the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl. So tell me about your book of affirmations, or like what is it going to be? What is your goal with it? Like, and who's the audience?
Cool. So, um, the I just bit my nail while talking.
They fine.
um, the book is called Seven Moons:
Ooh.
Developing Introspection Through Affirmations. Is the subtitle, and
Mhm.
basically the book is just it's a reflection of my past year, couple of years, where I've had my ups and downs, and just on the road to this person that I am today, as well as the person that I'll be tomorrow and the day after that. Basically just giving insight about, how hard it was to kind of talk to the parasites in the back of my mind that kind of like tried to make me believe that I didn't deserve a better life.
Mm,
Um, Trying to separate the idea of being rich from, being rich, wealthy with money versus being rich and wealthy in spirit, and how, the connection between manifesting that money and having everything that you need, and how it might not look exactly how you think it should look with the Gucci and the cars and all that type of stuff, and just kind of like separating the desire for that type of wealth from the desire of being truly like in tune and wealthy and having everything that you need, and eventually like becoming so wealthy that like you manifest that in the physical realm, the spiritual realm, and every other realm that exists. So
hmm
that's what that book's about. I forgot what else you said.
Just talk about
um
how it's like manifesting, like learning that you could be rich without the wealth, or once you're manifesting that mentality, how you can kind of be more wealthy beyond your dreams, really, besides that physical manifestation and money.
Right. Like it's really like I guess what I said before is it's just a reflection of like real life stories about what I dealt with. And then like
Hmm
it gives like these affirmations that I came up with. Like it starts with the introduction, and the first affirmation is like just so hard that it's just like either you in or you not. If you not in, then don't even read the rest of the book. But if you in,
Mm.
let's go. Cause like
Gotcha.
at the end of this book, you gonna change your life. And it's not gonna be like instant, be a type of book that you can read any day of the week to re-motivate yourself, or to get you know what I'm saying? Like to recenter yourself and be able to just be like, okay, I'm here. Let's go.
Mm. Definitely need that, because I know some days, because that's the one thing about like waking up spiritually and healing. Like you think you're going to be fine always, but you have to constantly work on your healing. Like it's never going to be. I don't believe healing will ever be complete. You're going to always be like
Yes.
95%, or up and down, but 100% is like completely impossible to get, because you have to constantly remotivate yourself. You have to constantly like go through those ups and downs of
Yeah, life is
facing
constantly gonna throw
life.
you new ways of learning something the same. Like it's like, how you can watch a movie and a person can fall in love with somebody, and then because of like, the trauma that they dealt with in a past relationship, they have these walls up, and they finally let these walls down, and the person looks like they're about to do something, you know what I'm saying, that the person in the past did. And you put
Hmm
this wall up because you think that what's going to happen, but you have to really be able to like be in the moment and like say, hey, I'm healed from that person, and even though I might have a little scratch, a little bruise, a little band-aid, might need a
Right.
little band-aid, I'm willing to take this chance again because nothing is better than right now. Like, my past is not better than right now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to focus so much on my future that I'm going to ignore what's right here, right now.
Right.
So
So
to say.
basically staying present, because I know that's hard. That's hard.
Oh,
That's real
so
hard.
hard.
Like
It's so
that's
hard.
probably the hardest thing of just like being present and being intentional is something that I had to work on.
Yeah.
And I remember I had to ask Jay, the person we know, and I was like, she kept saying being intentional. I said, what do you mean by that? Like, what is these
Yeah.
words that you're saying? And she definitely helped me a lot with like my mental health, even more than she knows. Like she would like explain it to
Yeah.
me in a way that I understand. I was like, oh, I want that. I want to be intentional and I want to set boundaries.
Oh, I want that.
I want that. Like that sounds like something that I need. And so she taught me like tapping exercises for my anxiety. And so, but that it helps you
Yes.
with that present, that to stay present. And because whatever, there was this
Yes.
quote. I was like, go Jay, boogie. Uh, so the
Right.
one thing somebody said, I get all my quotes from TV. I wish I could say I got them from books, but I got them from TV. Um, it's
Even
on
better.
Netflix. I don't even want to say where I got it from because it's stupid, but it's a good word. He said that it was his father talking to his son, and his son was like having a lot of anxiety and depression. He said, you have anxiety about the future, and you get depressed about the past. So that's why you have to stay present.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, Dad, getting these dad formations. So I forgot where I was going with that. I'm sorry, I went on a tangent. Staying present.
Yeah.
So like one, if before we, because your book is not out yet, do you know when your book is going to be available for purchase and order? Oh, did I lose you?
I'm so hoping that huh? Hello,
Yeah,
can
I
you
can
hear me?
hear you.
I'm hoping that it won't be a month from now, but I do have a website where you can do pre-ordering, and as soon
Oh,
as it does come, you can have it already on back order.
okay. And I will put that, just make sure you send that to me and I'll put that in the description so people can pre-order it and get their version. So before your book comes out, is there like what advice, because we're getting close to an hour and I definitely want to make time for one of your poems. So just like what advice would you give somebody who's just listening to this, who is stuck in the past or trying to think about the future? What would you say to that person, male, female, other, about just getting out of their own way?
And talk to the little kid in you. There was this lady named Christelle, and she told us she works with women a lot, and she's like, you need to go find that little girl, and you need to hold
Mm,
her, and you need to console her and let her know that you're here. And I was just like, that has stuck with me. So I would like definitely I give homage to the people who have been helping me. Like Drika Rice, she did this funeral workshop where we were able to bury all the things that we didn't want anymore. So I would just
mm,
say, like, go to your little person, the kid you were, talk to that person, ask them what it is that they're afraid of and why they, what is keeping them from allowing you to become the person you need to be. Once y'all had that conversation, bury it, have a funeral for it, have an actual ceremony, write something down. Like I wrote a whole eulogy for all the things that I no longer wanted to see with myself. Like I would not be talking on this podcast the way that I am had I
mm,
not had that eulogy, you know?
mm.
So just
I like that
really
though.
having that ceremony and embracing the person and letting that shit be in the grave, let that shit go. It made you who you are. It's been there. It did what it had to do. It served its purpose. Let's go. And then you just move. Like you just move. You just get up and you just go. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the one thing that's helped me a lot. Just like yesterday was my day that I just sat and I don't want to say wallowed, but I just really this guy from TikTok, I was just jumping his live and I was just being real. I said, I just feel a little depressed. I don't feel like leaving.
Yeah.
really muster is just existing. And sometimes existing is okay. And I was like, I like that.
And that's so true. Oh my God, that
Sometimes
is
it,
so true.
sometimes it just existing is okay as long as it's not the everything you do. And I was like, I love that so much. Um,
I think we don't realize that everything, like when we trust ourselves, what we feel is needed. Like it's like I have my day. I'm a Cancer, so I'm moody. Okay, like I have my days where I can't like entertain people or something like that, and I have to acknowledge that it's not, what I'm saying, it's not detrimental. It's just me. I'm the type of person that has to, like, I refuel myself by having alone time with myself. And like, you just stop making yourself out to be a bad guy. You're not a bad guy because you feel what you feel. You're not
I
a
like
bad
that.
guy at all.
Stop making yourself. You're not a bad guy. I love that, and that's so simple. It'd be the simplest stuff. It's like you're not a bad person, because I know like that's what that negative self talk will do. Is like, oh, I'm a terrible fucking human being. I'm just never gonna be good. And you're just like, no,
Yeah.
like, have you murdered or hit somebody? No, then you're pretty damn
Right.
good.
You haven't destroyed nobody's life. You tried to destroy somebody's life. Now, one time I did try to slice somebody's tire, but I'm proud of that.
That's good. I'm glad. Don't be going back. Okay.
No.
Well, I got one more question, and I love that. I've never sliced anybody's tires, but I have been accomplice to some things. I am that supportive
I tried to. I
friend
was younger. I
that
was younger.
was I was like, I support. Like, I haven't nobody's made me mad enough to where I want to physically do anything to their shit yet. And I was like, give it time. Give it time, but hopefully
Give it
nobody's gonna
time.
bring me out of character.
Right.
But I will ride with you though. I was like, come on, bitch, let's get in the car. They don't know my car.
You're gonna be
They
the
don't know
hype
my
man.
car, so let's go. Yeah, like, you sure? Like, we don't have to do this. I don't want you to go to jail. It's like, I need to do. So the last question I want to ask just before I get you to do a poem is just, when did you fall in love with your blackness?
Oh my God. Um, I think I've always been in love with being, you know, of a darker hue.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, like I've always loved, what I'm saying, like being black. As far as like falling in love with like maybe the culture, I think I didn't do that till I was like, I went to UAPB and it was, historically black college, and I was like, oh my God, you guys are so cool. You know? And I think that's when it really hit me. Like I didn't realize I was going to a HBCU until I went to a HBCU, and I was just like,
Mm.
dang, my people are dope. Like we got the education going, and we still kicking it.
Oh man, that's one thing I wish I would have went to. Man, I look at these pictures and videos, and I was like, I could have had all that and the joy and the blackness.
It was an experience, I tell you that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, we're just a little bit over, and so I just want to go ahead because I keep getting a call from my brother, so but he's okay. I had to make sure he's fine. So I want to, if you don't mind, we hit our hour, even though I could talk to you forever because you don't. I just would love for you to regale us with just one of your poems. I know you did one in when we were in Ohio. I love that one, but if you have another one on your heart, go for it, girl. Let's go.
I'm gonna do the one I did in Ohio because we was talking about mental health and stuff. So I think that one like really fits. Um, this is actually when I was telling you about, like this is the poem that got me over the hurdles when I was like, listen, God, I need something different.
Oh,
So here
okay.
we go.
I love the backstory. Let's go.
I can't recall the last time I took advice from anyone shaped like a figure eight. Who trusts pretty girls anyways? I can't recall the last time I took advice from anyone. I'm sure that'd be the death of me. And I can't recall the last time I took love from anyone. I'd call daddy, who's got one anyways, not me. Are you hating yourself? Do you really hate me? Are you losing yourself or crucify me? Have you ever wanted to just give up on life? Like, living didn't feel like you were alive anymore. You're just waiting for the last day when there will be no need to survive anymore. I'm tired. 26 years in this dimension, and I'm feeling like God doesn't even know my name. Like, I must have sent you over 9,481 prayers, and you've heard not one. Depressing, right? Like, how can someone feel so low and not commit some form of suicide? Well, I tried. Problem is, I didn't die. I jumped off a bridge and dived right into the Niger River, hoping to drown, but I'm a fighter. So no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't give up. Oh, yeah, wake up. Here comes your reoccurring series of events. Like, in what method will my trials present themselves as this time? Trial number 3,286. No, I won't fail this time. Just pray, dear God, make me like a bird so I can fly far, far away from here into the next dimension, because this one sucks. Dear God, make me like a bird so I can fly far, far away from here. Damn, I'm still here. I lay myself down to sleep, but I'd rather take late night selfies with my notebook, tell a story as if those words could heal the dementia or memory loss I had when it came to life. You see, I've been here before, but can't quite remember how it ends or even how I got to this point. Life seeming so rich, but I'm just a poor girl struggling with her idea of existing. I'm giving 100% to something that I have no proof will prevail. In order to find happiness or eternal bliss, I sacrificed my fears, took a leap of faith. I guess that's how I ended up on this bridge. See, now I'm back where I started, because practice means repetition. And though it's not quite the same, I'm saying the same things in different ways just so you can catch the vision. Trying to trust God and lean not to my own understanding. But see, I have a hard time figuring if the voice in my head is him or me. I hum sometimes. They say it'll keep the devil out of your thoughts, but then I'd have to admit that I can't really hear myself think. They say I exist in the image of the one who was and is to come. So there's power in the words that I speak. I speak life into this piece, bringing peace with my art. Art brings way to my reality. I'm not writing for you, I'm writing for me. Trying to find those gifts that make room for me. You see, I read once that my gifts would make room for me, and I'm tired of answering to my oppressors, so I'll let these gifts make room for me. And I'm not saying that I'm a prodigy, but maybe life is about finding fruition inside of the journey. Well, here I am back at this bridge ready to give up, but wait, I think I've been here before. Thank you.
That's so good. I just like listening to that, girl. Listening to that just sounds like the whole, like you summarized our whole conversation. Just because I heard all the references, like the not working for the oppressors. I'm like, I saw that one. I hear that one real good. And just using your
Right.
gifts to like elevate the world, but also just elevate yourself and
Mm-hmm.
just getting out of your way. Like, and you talked about how fear was just holding you back and just,
Yep.
and just once you just like, I don't even think like fear ever goes away. Like fear is just on the ride with us. I'm like, you just take the side
Yeah.
seat, you just be quiet and just enjoy the ride, fear, because we finna go.
Facts. It's really a
Man.
power that you can like harness. Like it's gonna be there, and it's always gonna,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how you know that it's real time. That's how you know it's happening. Like, okay, if you're not afraid, then you probably ain't doing nothing. But it's just like
Exactly.
you take that power and you just shit. Come on, let's go.
It's just go. It's just go, girl. Well, I'm so excited to see like all the things you're gonna do. Just get this book. I need some more affirmations. I definitely want to start working on my shadow work. And because you mentioned that earlier, I was like, oh, I keep forgetting I need to do that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just so thankful for giving me your time and your energy and just giving me all this good information. So I'm so proud of you, girl. I'm just so happy for you. Get
I
it.
know, I'm proud of you too. I'm so happy we met. I feel like we've
Me
known each
too.
other for a minute now.
I know, right? It's literally just been January. I remember the date,
It's
January
literally
28th. It's been like a
that's
whole month.
crazy.
But I'm appreciated because that's one thing I believe with God is God speaks to me through people, like having people in my life that can either show me a good thing or a bad thing, and they show me love or show me indifference. And so you definitely showed me a lot of love coming to my birthday. Didn't even know me. You're like, hey girl, I was like, hey. And so thankful for
No.
you and your support.
Wesley was like, yeah, this is my cousin. And then he tried to explain how he was his cousin, and he was like, well, I don't know if she my cousin or whatever, but I was like, okay, well, cool. So we at the dinner. I'm like, oh, she nice. And then he offered me some food.
That's your love language, huh?
That's my love language. It was the food. That's what it was.
Girl, I don't want nobody to go hungry around me. You ain't finna. Like, you ain't. Girl, I know y'all just got here, but here you go. Shoot.
Right. Yeah.
I know it's COVID times. We don't want to eat off each other's plate, but I'm like,
you said that. I was like,
I did.
Give me that piece of food.
Right. I was like, I got vaccinated. We good. Yeah. But girl, again, I'm looking forward to. I actually may hit you up about something else. I may be working on. I talked to the last guy I did a podcast with. His name was Miles, and I met him randomly at an Emily King concert, and he is from St. Louis. And he's a musician, but I was like, man, I gotta get down to Chattahoochee, and I was like, well, you right next door, and so I was like, I might have something working. I'm gonna try to might be percolating on something. Ooh, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. And just thank you again. I love you. I'm gonna go ahead and say that.
I love you
And
too.
oh, thank you, girl. I love love. Anyway, thank you so much for joining Cosigns and Tangents, and thank you for listening. And bye bye. Just have a great day.
Bye.
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 Okay. And see. Okay.